We will create a system. What type of system? There are basically 4 types of conflict management systems. I will talk all of them one by one. First of all, this is imagine the conflict management as a building. In that building, the communication-based system is our roof. It's the everyday protection. It's the most useful, artistic, and emotional one. So if there's no roof, the pillars of our building will have no use. It includes the communication and negotiation skills, trainings about them, facilitation, conflict coaching, etc. All of them which structures the organizational culture, the communication culture in the organization. One of our pillars is interest-based systems. It includes mediation, conciliation, and any kind of hybrid method that you can imagine of. Another pillar is rights-based system. It includes complaint systems and investigation procedures. It's a less wider pillar, as you see. I made this whitenesses in purpose. It's a little bit less wider pillar, but it's a must, and it will be better to be organized according to the legislation in your country. And last but not least, the third pillar of our system is the power-based system. It includes workplace rules, administrative procedures. It's the load-bearing column, which means the main column of our building. You can decorate it as you want, but you cannot remove it. It's the main column. So whole system relies on the power-based system. In Jane's case, all of those systems were collapsed because she said, my job description was not clear. It seems that there were no proper workplace rules. Either there were rules or they were not being applied properly. So the power-based system were collapsed in Jane's case. She also did not have any rights-based system because she said there was no one left in the management to sublet her complaint. When this nice director quitted, she had nowhere else to go. There was no system that she can apply for. And the interest-based system was also collapsed because she said, I did not have any ability to negotiate. People may have this difficulty, and there was no system in the workplace which can support her by mediation or conciliation. She didn't have any support. The workplace didn't give her that. And of course, the roof was collapsed because she said it was a really difficult workplace environment and it was an awkward communication going on between people. So in Jane's case, the whole building was really not there. So we will talk about how to establish a system which includes all of these pillars and the roof properly. How do we do that? It's lucky that we have 4 principles: integrity, competency, diversity, and transformity. Now I will talk about them by each of them. First of all, we will start with an investigation. Remember that we talked about there may be lots of reasons for conflict, and it may change depending on the workplace. For example, in that workplace, the senior management was seeing the lack of communication not so much a reason for conflict, whereas other people gave more importance to it. And in the same workplace, while the engineers were thinking that the lack of role clarity is a big importance for conflict, the other people didn't think so. It cannot be generalized to all people all around the world. You need to know about the employees in your company. So we start with an investigation. either by surveys or by interviews, either by qualitative or quantitative research methods. We need to know about our employees and their needs. Then we set our goals. If in our workplace, people give really big importance to communication, then our goal may be to train our employees regarding it. If it's a big if it's a big lack of role clarity, then our goal may be to define each position's job step by step. So our goal depends on the results of our investigation. And we set up our workplace rules according to it, so that no one like Jane will have any problem like my job description was not clear. And then we go on with individual learning. I know that it's not possible to train every employee in the workplace with all those conflict management information, mobbing information, conflict management system information. The type and the scope of the trainings will depend on the positions and hierarchy of the employees. But we make sure that each employee at least gets an orientation about the conflict management system in the workplace and the opportunities to apply in case when they need any help. So that anyone like Jane will not say, I did not have the ability to negotiate, so I just didn't say anything. They need to know that how to get a support when they feel they need. And then after time, we hope for an organizational learning, which means a common vision in the company. It's like a shared goal. In our case, Jane and Mr. John did not share a goal. It seemed like they were in the same team, but reaching for different kind of goals, and it doesn't make any sense. So we are trying to improve the organizational learning, the shared vision in the company, so that we do not face awkward communications or difficult workplace environments. We also want to have diverse amount of application procedures for people to get help. In Jane's case, she didn't have anyone to submit her complaint after that nice director quitted. We want to have more than one application procedures for people to get help, like mediation, conciliation, and any hybrid methods that you can think of, as well as formal complaint procedures. We want them to be voluntary, so we do not put Jane to use any of those application procedures. We want procedures to be impartial. Most of the time, we encourage companies to use outsource mediators, outsource facilitators, because it's not nice to have your HR department head to also act as a mediator in a workplace conflict. It doesn't seem impartial. We want it to be confidential. So we do not record as much as possible, of course. We do not want to take recordings of all applications, and we do not want to record the specifics of those needs, so that no one goes to the file and sees what Sezil or Andrea said about any kind of things. We want it to be informal, so we want to get rid of all bureaucracy, paperwork, signatures. That frightens people. We want it to be informal as much as possible, of course, and we want it to be simple. As well as there are diverse amount of application procedures, we do not want it to be a puzzle. We want it to be simple. And then we keep on periodic investigations. We keep on knowing our employees. We get feedback from Jane if she uses one of those application procedures. And we review the precedents, how things went. Did it went good? Did it went bad? So when we do this, what kind of outcomes are we expecting? We're, of course, expecting some good outcomes. Here are some example results. In the National Bank of Canada, HR experts get some training about negotiation, and they established a dispute resolution system. They structured application procedures, and they report that the disputes decreased by 50% and the legal costs decreased by 85%. And we never know what kind of good impacts that the employees had. In Motorola, they established a systematic conflict management. They used mediation clause in their supplier contracts, so they also established a commercial conflict management system, and they report that their legal costs decreased by 75%. In other corporations, they also use the systematic use of alternative dispute resolution methods, and they say that the number of their legal cases decreased from 200 to 20, and their costs decreased by 50%. In another company, they use the conflict management system in one specific project, and they report that the project was completed 144 days early with a lot of savings in the budget. It was also implemented in a high school. It's a high school in which the violence is a big problem. They established a long-term schedule, and they trained the students on negotiation, and they encouraged mediation between the students, and they report that the violence decreased over time. There are no numbers because it's a high school. And again, in other company, in other institution, they established a systematic conflict management, and they report that the duration of the specific set of labor disputes decreased 4,200 hours. The common feature in all those reportings is that they made it systematic. It's not a system where you can get the results in a day or two. It's a systematic approach, so you may expect the results in the long term if you can manage it.